Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechFoot Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. I do apologize for the delay on this specific live stream. But yeah, this is our Sunday Stock Talk. So this is when we go together or go live together to talk about the top stocks that we see value in for this upcoming week. I want to make sure that we talk about the stocks that you all see value in and that we call them out in the ticker call out format. So for those that aren't familiar with it, I hope that you guys can watch this video and kind of see how we do things. But we do this every single Sunday at 6:30, usually at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So we usually do a pretty good job consistently following up with that. But what's up? What's up? Hope you guys are all having an amazing day. We have a good amount of people that are tuning in live, so super happy to see that. How many of you guys are excited to get the week started? How many of you guys are excited and always now looking forward to Mondays? So boom, boom, boom. What's going on? What's up, guys? Hope you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. So let's go ahead and for all those that are joining us for the first time. Oh, there we go. There we go. Ready for the week? I like it. Monday. And for those that aren't familiar with why people are so excited, that our group looks forward to Mondays, is because the stock market's only open Monday through Friday. So we definitely have a lot of motivation that goes towards wanting the market to open. Let's see. He just woke up from a nap, I'm guessing. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I took about a nap at around maybe like 5:55 p.m. and then I overslept. So I slept. I was only supposed to take a 15-minute nap, and it went a little bit longer. I do apologize for that. Cheese time. What's up? Now, for everyone that's part of TechFoot Solutions or Learn Plan Profit, or are just a new subscriber, feel free to tell me who what it is, what group you're a part of. Are you part of TechFoot Solutions, LPP, or are you just a viewer, right? Are you just a follower on YouTube? So let me know what you guys think and see what it is. So LPP, baby, what's going on? Digital, what's up? There we go, LPP. Got a good amount of LPP. We have some Tech Buds. If you're part of LPP and Tech Buds, I want to see that too. LPP and Tech Buds, I like it. LPP, Tech Buds. Let's see. Ooh, there we go. Tech Buds for life. I like it. Ooh. Boom. This is what it's all about. Surrounding yourself with people that motivate you and make you feel like you're doing something good in life, right? This is definitely what it's all about. So you guys kill me. What's going on? But yeah, thank you guys again so much for taking time and investing time into this Sunday. It shouldn't be anything too crazy. LPP, Tech Buds, and YouTube. What's going on, Roxas? You're doing it all. I want to dedicate some time to talk about maybe 5 to 10 stocks that you all call out that are showing signs of an uptrend. I'm going to make a follow-up video tomorrow. I'm going to go live at around 5 p.m. And then I'll talk about the stocks that I see value in preparation for the week. I have found it that I do much better when I give myself one day to get an idea of how the market opens, and I can kind of I can get a better direction or a better understanding of where I kind of want to invest for the week and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and do it whenever it is that you guys are ready. Again, everything has to be in the ticker call out format. So as you guys can see, like B. McCarthy or Dustin has a ticker symbol, support, resistance, entry point, sell point, and why it has potential. Be sure to not just call out whatever it is that you are calling out just with the ticker, and that it is actually the entire plan. So if I don't get through your stock, again, please don't think that I'm ignoring you. I probably am. Just kidding. I'm not ignoring you. But again, don't think that I'm ignoring you. There's a lot of messages that are going to be going through. Let's make sure that we focus on two things: that it's showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern, so making higher highs. And then the last thing is that overall that it's above the 180-day EMA. The third thing that I would really like to focus on, if possible, is to make sure that it's a good deal, meaning that it still has a lot more margin to cover and that it's not super overbought, right? So let's go ahead and take a look. We did a really good job last week. It was a very slow week for myself. Thankfully, Friday blessed us with about $1,400 profit. But the entire week as a whole, just due to my travels, was definitely not the best. It was my slowest week altogether this year so far. So there's a good amount of stocks that we were watching, such as ticker symbol SHOP, ticker symbol ticker symbol Z. And then Gush was doing a really good job of pushing up and then had a pretty aggressive sell-off and then showed signs of a bounce. And that bounce was exactly what we were able to capitalize on. And then it fell right back down below that EMA. So what we'll do is we'll send an alert for Gush itself. Right now it pushed up for one day then got rejected. It's still above the SMA indicator, so that's great. But we want to see this thing to continue to make higher highs. So that means for it to break and make new resistance levels. So that's going to be one of my breakdowns for the day. But yeah. Let's see. What's going on, Don? So I follow you. What? So I follow you. Do you and consistently trade? What? I follow what you do and stay consistent and trade the same stocks. Yeah, so I mean, I trade as long as the patterns are still of value. What I did a very poor job last week was that I was almost forcing my trades on some of the stocks that were obvious, not the best tickers, but it was just because I traded them often that I almost forced my trades, and that's also something that you want to avoid. So. Yeah, so we'll talk about a discount for Learn Plan Profit at the very end of the video if you guys tune in that long. But yeah, I'll do a discount for the first 10, 15 people or something like that. Do you mostly trade large cap stocks? No, not necessarily. I mean, I don't trade any penny stocks anymore, but yeah. So UWT was one that was called out, had a very aggressive, push up, had a very aggressive sell off, right? Bounced right around this SMA indicator. MACD indicator looks good. RSI looks like it's coming right back up. The direction of this EMA line is still pointing down. So what we would like to see is for this thing to start curling up and then for the candles to follow as well. So what I would do here is I would set an alert. I had a previous support here right around $40. So it would almost make sense on why $40 might act as a resistance. So I'm going to set a break above 40. So if it breaks above 40, then again, old resistance levels can become new support levels. So then we'll have to revisit it and see if it continues to recover on this ongoing uptrend. It does offer this margin leading up to that $40 resistance, but we want to make sure that it doesn't continue to sell off and that it continues to make higher highs and not lower lows. So again, that would be a huge factor that I would look at is the overall direction of where it's trading at. And again, every ticker that is being called out has to be called out in that ticker call out format. So thank you again for this call out. So ticker symbol DAL. DAL had a pretty decent size sell-off, bounce. So this is Delta Airlines. Definitely makes sense. Overall support. This is a 180-day analysis on the 4-hour chart. Makes sense on why this was a low point. Started reversing back up, setting an alert right around here. Watch out for this SMA line as it might act as a resistance. Also a previous support which might act as a new resistance. Might be around $52 as you guys can see here. So what I'll do here is I'll extend it to the right. And what I'll do here is I'll extend it to the right as well. So we can see that it's definitely showing signs of an uptrend pattern. It doesn't mean 100% that it has to do this, but one thing that I would really like you to understand about any stock that you choose to invest in, because that's the whole point of this video, it's forget about the stock that we're talking about, but it's the certain techniques and thought process that we go through when we're performing a technical analysis to have a better judgment if it's a good investment or not. And one thing that I would really like to take in consideration when it comes down to breaking down something like DAL is that I noticed that it's almost somewhat it's a little bit more aggressive or a little bit more volatile than a lot of the stocks that I invest in. So I know that I usually try to focus on this EMA indicator for it to hold above the EMA, but a characteristic of DAL is that it pushes up above the EMA and then it pushes below, pushes up, pushes below, pushes up, pushes below, pushes up, pushes below as it continues to uptrend. And that's a definite characteristic that's rather unique for the specific ticker DAL. So as this thing continues to push up and then sell off, because you might be swing trading something like this, just note that that is a characteristic of something that you might experience, or that might, is a similar pattern or similar pattern that DAL actually experiences. So I definitely like the overall potential that it has to offer. It would make sense on why it might sell off a little bit to around $50. So that's something that I'll follow up with. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, headphone users. Let's see it. All right, so I'm going to move DAL. So DAL is showing signs of an uptrend, so I'll add it to my watch list. So thank you again for that nice reminder. And again, be sure to copy whatever your call out is, just because, I might not see it and you might have to continue to copy and paste it and stuff like that. Thank you, Shannon. So Mary is calling out STLD. Okay, so STLD is showing signs of an uptrend. It looks like it's been doing a pretty decent job continuing to make higher highs, right? So as it pushes up, it sells off. As it pushes up, sells off, makes higher highs. Sells off, doesn't go as low as it did before. Pushes up, sells off, didn't go as low as it did before. That's definitely something that we find very attractive. What might act as a resistance as of right now is this SMA line, and what's acting as a support is this EMA line. Also, watch out for this potential earnings report, but I would set my alert for the break above $48 to get more of an understanding that we have a stronger push up. We could see that $48 has been a previous resistance before, just in these areas right here. So what I would do is I would set an alert there, make sure that we're continuing to make higher highs with the overall understanding that around $50 to $51 is normally where it tends to peak out at. And again, from $48 to let's say even $51, it offers about a 6% margin, right? So definitely a lot of margin to continue to go. It looks like a pretty slow moving ticker. So I'm going to go a little bit closer. And yeah, it does a really good job. So again, how do you know when something is actively trending up intraday? When it trades in between the middle and top VWAP. Again, I do have a video on YouTube explaining what the VWAP indicator is. So be sure to search that up. And if you're part of the Learn, Plan, Profit course, I have a more in-depth video there. And then you could always ask me when I'm trading live every single day at market open, to elaborate a little bit more on my day trades. For all those that are part of TechBud Solutions, I shared a video for all of you just to give you guys a taste of what the people within Learn, Plan, Profit get to experience when I trade live. And I think I got a lot of positive feedback of people not actually knowing that I literally kind of go live like this. I start to trade and then people start to ask questions, and I do this every single day. And that's for the Learn, Plan, Profit group. And I was able to showcase myself making a little bit over $1,000 profit in that live stream and talking about my ins, my outs, people asking me questions, picking at my brain and stuff like that. So that's definitely something that is definitely of value if you see value in it, right? If you don't, then 100%. I hope that these videos can continue to guide you in the right direction. All right. Chris, why LPP is the best? I appreciate it. Interested in joining LPP right now? Any discounts? Yeah, so we'll talk about a discount after the live stream if that's cool. Ticker symbol CRSP. I actually kind of like that. So CRSP. Okay, so CRSP is doing a very good job. So looking at the overall pattern and direction, one thing that you should know is that it does have huge pushes of volume. That's definitely something that I already do not find very attractive about this ticker. It looks like it sometimes can get manipulated, or there's a lot of hype behind it, maybe due to some certain news. That can maybe tell me that the volume is a little bit lower. And yeah, that definitely falls under that category. So with that understanding, I would probably be less likely to invest in it. But it is showing signs of an uptrend, right? Overall resistance, as you guys can see, is around $70 to $75. So as long as it continues to hold above this SMA, as long as it continues to hold above this EMA, and the EMA, how do you know when something is moving up? Well, let's say that you put an arrow at the end of this EMA line. What direction is it pointing? So it's still showing signs of an uptrend. It's probably going to be approaching a slight resistance right around the $65 price point, as it's previously gotten rejected around this area. So let's make sure that we wait for a full-on confirmation and break above that for this ongoing uptrend. And then how do I know if I'm getting a good buy? Well, as it continues to push up, it definitely does sell off, and it does a really good job holding above this SMA line. So as long as it continues that pattern in that direction, then those would be some indicators that I would kind of focus on when it comes down to getting a better understanding of where this thing is heading. So what's the best stock to invest in? That's probably one of the worst questions that you can ask. when it comes down to getting started and investing in the stock market. We have 3 rules within our group, and those 3 rules are: you should never invest based on other people's opinion, you should never invest in what you don't understand, you should always have a plan when investing. You'll learn and you'll come very familiar that a lot of people within the trading or investing field are huge on selling signals and stuff like that. That's definitely been something that we've never done. I don't believe or see a lot of value in spoon feeding people. It doesn't build a lot of self-sufficient, it's not self-sufficient, right? If I'm here to develop and educate people on how to become self-sufficient traders, how am I going to tell them what to do, right? That just doesn't make sense. But if you can, work with people on a daily basis, provide a stable foundation on a general understanding, and work with them so they understand these patterns, the direction, how to identify a good deal, a bad deal, right? Then we can pretty much grow these individuals to really understand how to identify good deals and how to actually start investing consistently and understand what it is that they're doing. So that is the goal. And if that's not attractive to you, then TechBud Solutions, my YouTube channel, and Learn, Plan, Profit probably are not going to be suitable for you, right? If you want to be told what to do. Let's see. All right. Okay, so someone is calling out Crocs. I like it. Let's go ahead and start breaking it down. So, okay, this is actually probably one of the. Okay, so CROX is showing signs of an ongoing uptrend. How do we know that? Again, if we were to put an arrow at the end of the SMA line, what direction would it be pointing? It would, it's continuously making higher highs, and it continues to make lower highs as well, or higher lows as well. So as it pushes up, it sells off, but it doesn't go as low as it did before. It pushes up, sells off, not as low as it did before. And it's been a very consistent pattern. An indicator that it reacts based on previous patterns very nicely to is this SMA line. Almost every single time that it sells off and it touches this SMA line, after it breaks right back above the EMA line, right? 2 things: sells off, that's one thing, touches the SMA line, right? And then breaks above the EMA line, showing signs of an ongoing uptrend. Once, twice, 3 times, and then a potential 4th time, right? Today, or this time can be a potential 4th time. Is it going to do it? We don't know, right? Just because it's done it before doesn't mean 100% that it's going to do it again, and that's something that we definitely do want to make sure that everyone understands. Patterns are, there to repeat themselves, but it doesn't mean that they have to, right? And that's why confirmation is so key in our style of investing. Not only how do you know when something is going to actually start validating a previous support is when you wait for the confirmation to show that, hey, it actually started to reverse, right? And right now what I would do is I would set an alert for the break above 1740. So when it starts to, so as of right now, we've talked about it multiple times within Learn, Plan, Profit. There's 3 stages in a reversal. There's the rejection when it trends down and sells off. There's the consolidation when it kind of starts to flatline and no longer make lower lows. And then the third thing is the reversal when it starts to actually make higher highs and breaking above the EMA line. So right now it looks like we're probably in the consolidation phase. It's not making higher highs. It's starting to kind of just consolidate right around this area from around 17, maybe 50 to around $17. So one thing that we can do is we can set a series of alerts here to catch it when it's actively trending up, if it ever does that, right? Because we don't know if it's going to do that. But from around 1750, let's say it goes back up to that $18 resistance, this swing trade can offer about 8.5%. And that's very attractive. It makes a lot of sense. And, right, we just have to wait for the confirmation. And the company is very well known, right? So I'm going to add this one under pending reversal. So CROX. Again, it's one of the watch lists that I have. And then we can just follow up with it then. So this has to be one of my personal favorite stocks that has been called out as of so far today. You're lying. Let's see. IQ, Randall, thank you again for taking time out of your day and tuning in. So let's go ahead and break down IQ. So again, IQ had a pretty solid sell-off. Looks like it sold off from highs of about $46. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw my first resistance line right around $45, right? And it looks like it sold off. Again, the SMA line, it's been showing signs of very solid ascending uptrend pattern. Sold off, it validated its support right around the SMA line. Again, the rejection phase, consolidation phase, and now it's showing signs of, again, higher highs, higher lows, right? This is definitely something that we find very attractive. It's selling off, and as long as it stays true to this SMA line and this EMA line, then the pattern is still relevant, correct? If it breaks that, then great. You know, we can cut losses or we can not even invest in it. But what I would like to see if it starts to make higher highs. So I'm going to set an alert there. I'm going to set an alert here as well to see if it starts breaking resistance levels. And this one's actively starting to show signs of an uptrend, right? It definitely does make sense on why it can continue to uptrend, and it would make sense on why it can recover. So let's say from highs of around $35 to about $45, that would mean that it could cover a potential margin of about 28% potential for profit. Does not mean that it's actually going to. It just means that it's done it in the past. Something that you can definitely take into consideration is that, you know, it had a lot of volume as it was pushing up. That volume has been now very consistent. There is no like huge push. So we want to make sure that we understand that. And let's go to the 20-day analysis to look a little bit closer to see if there's any other indicators that we can identify. It looks like it might still sell off. It has a little bit more margin for this SMA line. So let's see. Okay, it looks like on Friday did a very poor job trying to recover. It looks like it had a red day. Was trading in between the middle and bottom VWAP. That's showing signs of a downtrend. So very simple like concepts that we've covered and why we wouldn't invest in IQ intraday. For those that have gone through Learn, Plan, Profit with that obvious indication of, you know, trending below the SMA and trending in between the middle and bottom VWAP. So I definitely do see, you know, the potential as it just sold off and it's trying to bounce right around the SMA, the EMA line, but we'll just have to follow up with it. So I'm just going to add it to my list and then follow up with it as the market opens. It doesn't mean that I have to trade it. That's the beautiful thing about it. So Ricky, I just picked up a hitchhiker and I have to listen to them to your live stream so I can tell them. Benjamin, that's actually pretty cool. I hope that's safe though. Billy! What is going on? Billy the Kid, I like it. What's up, what's up? There's actually one that I kind of liked here. So ticker symbol sale. So thank you again. So ticker symbol sale. I'll break that down for you. Thank you again. Okay, this is, now I want to interact with you guys. This is where we work together. Ready, guys? All right. All right, so when it comes down to this overall, like, okay, this is a ticker symbol sale, SAIL. We've talked about this one before, right? This one was in my active uptrending watch list because of this ongoing uptrend. It bounced on this SMA line and it broke above the EMA line. We've talked about this one before. It's showing signs of an uptrend and it's approaching this previous resistance right around $28 to about $29. So with that understanding, and you guys already know what it is that I'm going to ask, is, okay, we've talked about three things that I like for myself, which doesn't mean that this is something that you have to see value in, but that has assisted me to stay a little bit more consistent, is that, you know, is ticker symbol sales showing signs of an uptrend? Is it above the EMA line? Is it making higher highs? Yes, right? So I like that about it, right? The second thing is, what's it called? Is it above the EMA line, right? Is it showing signs of an uptrend? Yes. Second thing, right? And the last thing is it a good deal? What? Ricky, why do you care if it's a good deal? Why does that matter? And the reason that getting a good deal matters in every market that you invest in is having the understanding that you could sell it for more based on previous patterns. So when I bought, you know, my GTR, I bought it because I got it for such a good deal that I could resell for a profit. And that's something that not a lot of people think about. When I bought my house, I understood the overall direction of where the housing market was going based on my understanding and what my real estate agent was able to educate me on. So with that understanding, I knew that it had more margin to recover and make, right? And that's why it is that I am where it is that I am today. That was a mouthful. So with that understanding, why would this potentially, ticker symbol SAIL, not be the potentially best investment? It doesn't mean that it can't continue to uptrend. That's not what I'm saying. It 100% can go up to $29, right? But why would it potentially be not the best investment? I want to ask you guys. So some people are saying that it's overbought, too close to the resistance. You guys, like, the more that you guys interact with this, the more that you guys will learn. So overbought, says Tristan, overbought. Wait for a pullback to 26.35, right around the EMA line. Okay, so it's approaching its resistance. There we go. This is what I want to see. So risk is higher than the reward. That is the easiest way to put it. So yes, there is a lot of margin that it still has to cover. There's still more, like, you can still 100% continue to push up to $29. That is not the important part. The important part is when the margin of profit does not exceed the margin of loss. And this is a concept. We call it the golden ratio if you're part of Learn Plan Profit. And it talks about, we did a 5-to-1 ratio where the margin of profit was about 5 times greater than the marginal loss. And it puts this concept in mind where, okay, I want to invest in stocks that are showing signs of an uptrend, that are above the EMA line, and that are good deals. How do you identify when it's a good deal? When the margin of profit exceeds the margin of loss. So the risk can potentially be worth it. The opportunity cost is worth it. Because if I were to invest right now at this price, $27.60, one of two things can happen. It will either go up and then get rejected, and it could recover 4%. But one thing, because it's so overbought and it's approaching a previous resistance, it could sell off. And if it sells off back to the SMA line, I could be down, right? I can be down about almost 10%. So I could potentially make 3 to 4%, or I could potentially lose 10%. You have to ask yourself, is that risk worth it? This is the whole point of calculating opportunity costs. It might be worth it for some of you. For some of you, just because it's not worth it for me does not mean that it cannot be worth it for you. We all invest in different ways, right? So it looks like Gaming Sports Boys has Gaming Sports Boy. What's going on, man? Looks like you're a little upset today. But yeah, just wanted to talk about that very simple concept of focusing what's a good deal, right? Oh my goodness. Looks like we have a couple people that... All right, there we go. Sorry about that, team. Got some dingleberries on this live stream. Alrighty, alright. Let's go ahead and... So Michael says, been a long time. I stepped back for some strategies and worked for you. Are a big inspiration worker, even though your strategies didn't work for me. Keep it up. Good work. Super happy to hear that, and thank you again for following up with me, Michael. Okay, so ADAP. Let's go ahead and break that down. Alrighty, there we go. So ADAP, again, I'm not a huge fan of these. Looks like the volume is actually kind of dying out. This is something that I would definitely take into consideration. Look at this overall SMA line. It was showing signs of an uptrend. Now it broke below the SMA line, and it's still showing signs of a continuous downtrend. It has been showing signs of making lower lows, and lower highs as well. So with that understanding, it's not showing any signs of a proper reversal just yet. So I would actually think that this thing will probably continue to descend. So I wouldn't be a huge fan of this specific pattern as of right now. Especially because it broke the pattern when it broke below the EMA line and this SMA line here. All right, GoPro from Dustin. Okay, so GoPro, based on previous patterns, it had a very aggressive sell-off. It looks like it's doing a very good job showing signs of this potential reversal. It sold off, right, recently after making higher highs. Sold off. It's approaching this SMA line. Will it begin to reverse back up? That's something that we'll have to wait for the confirmation for. Like, we don't know, right? I would set an alert if it breaks below $6. that would be a break of pattern, or if it bounces and starts to make higher highs, then that would be ideally what we would like to see to happen, for it to recover and make higher highs. Watch out also for the earnings report that is reported to come out on 8/2/2018. Oh, looks like we got another dingleberry. There we go. All right, all right. I'm trying to go through them. Let's go ahead and talk about that one. Ticker symbol friend very quickly. Actually, no, I don't want to talk about this one. This one looks like it's pretty aggressive. So it showed signs of an uptrend. It looks like it's selling off as of right now. Volume is kind of dying out. I mean, we can set an alert to see if it starts making higher highs, but it's so overbought that just the opportunity cost wouldn't necessarily be worth it for me. So let's see. All right, all right. Let's see. There we go. CPST. CPST showing signs of an uptrend. We can set an alert for it to make higher highs as of right there. This one's a little bit too low of a cap. It's not as attractive to me just because of how low of a cap stock it is. Looking at the 1 day, 1 minute chart, you can see how low the volume is. So with that simple understanding, I would personally like to stay away. Looking at the low points and the high points, you can see that 170 to 180 tends to be better sell territories. And if it bounces and continues to make higher highs, then 150, 160 tends to be where it tends to bounce. And as long as it stays true to this EMA line and this SMA line, then that's really what I think would be the most important part. So we got Michael calling out ticker symbol RACE. Let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the 1 day, 1 minute chart. Looks like the volume is a little bit low. 20 day, 1 hour chart. Okay. Okay, so it's definitely showing signs of an uptrend. It looks like it also did validate this SMA line, as you guys can see here. Again, 3 stages in a reversal rejection. It did some consolidation, and then when it broke above, 13, what is that? 137.50, it really started to take off. It looks very overextended. It would make sense on why it would sell off and then potentially continue to recover. So that's really what I would look out for if I were to even want to trade, race. So I do see that it is Ferrari. The ticker for Ferrari. So I just don't see it to be a good deal as of right now. I would wait a little bit more for a pullback and for it to validate that EMA line. PG, thank you again for that call out. So PG showing signs of a downward pattern. Started showing signs of a slight recovery just due to the earnings report and how much, asking yourself, is this a good deal or not? Looking at the overall direction on the past 1 year mark, it makes sense on why it still has some margin to recover, but with this descending pattern also, it does make sense on why this thing can continue to sell off. So with that understanding, I would personally just stay away. I don't think the opportunity cost is necessarily worth it for what the pattern has to offer. What's going on, dude? What's up? What's up? All right. So let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, again, this is just consolidating right now, so it has been showing signs of an uptrend. It's just it's been struggling to show any confirmation of an ongoing uptrend. It looks like it's been getting rejected right around $47. It found a support right around $42, so it's kind of just consolidating right now. And based on that, that opportunity cost just isn't worth it for me. And yeah, so it looks like right now it's catching a pretty solid support right around $44. As long as it holds above that, great. And then the overall resistance right around $46. It's not making an ongoing uptrend. So there's a risk in investing in something like that, right? So I would focus more on this as a day trade rather than a swing trade, just because, again, and if it starts to trade in between the middle and bottom VWAP, I would definitely want to stay away from that. So I'm going to set an alert here and then follow up with it. All right, all right. What's going on, Mark? Let's see. What's up? What's up? All right, Chris calling out HTZ. Let's go ahead and follow up with it. All right. So HTZ is still making lower lows, bud. I see that it's in that good deal range. Like it could potentially bounce right around $14, but it's not confirming that reversal, right? So it's kind of like when I was trading UGAZ. And UGAZ is definitely in that good deal range where it might bounce at, but there is no proper indication of this reversal, right? And one thing that we could, kind of look for when it comes down to having something like this is waiting for the reversal. Like it's been continuously making lower lows. It's been making higher lows as well. And it's really struggling. So one thing that I'll look out for is that understand that the overall SMA line has become a resistance. We could see that right here, right? So it's an ideal price point of where to sell. So if it starts to show signs of an uptrend and you know how to day trade or scalp descending patterns, then great, but I would definitely not encourage any new trader to invest in anything that's descending. So just my own 2 cents on that. Let's see. TST. All right, TST, definitely more on the overbought side. Do you guys see like the SMA line normally acts as a support, and then when it pushes up a certain average of a percent, and then it gets rejected and continues to sell off, bounces here, pushes up, sells off. Do you see why this is no longer a good deal? So yes, it's showing signs of an uptrend, but again, the opportunity cost, the margin of profit does not exceed the margin of loss. So that's why I would personally stay away. Very simple breakdowns that you guys could all do to have a better understanding if you're getting a good deal or not. So let's see. Chad, yep, I like that. I have a video on the RSI indicator, bud. So you can watch it on YouTube. So you can search Ricky Gutierrez RSI. I also have one in the Learn Plan Profit lesson library. So yeah, hey man, just finished watching all your LPP videos and going to TD Ameritrade in your office tomorrow to set up an account. So excited to start again, and thank you again for giving away. What's going on? Super happy to hear that. Thank you. Keller, come on. I know that you're probably doing it as a joke, but if we could really stay away from calling out that ticker, that would be great. Because I know you and a lot of people know that it's a joke, but I just don't think it's the best for our overall group. Ticker symbol. My guy. Raising Cane's on me. Thanks for everything. You guys crack me up. Oh my goodness. There's a ticker that I was just going to break down and I forgot about it. I heard Raising Cane's and I was like, mine. Right? All right, we have a good amount of tickers right here. So RTRX, let's break this down real quick. So RTRX, definitely more on the overbought side. Again, the overall support when we talked about this was closer when it was at the SMA line. Definitely becoming more on the overbought side. Yes, it can continue to make higher highs, and yes, it still has margin to cover, but does that exceed the margin of loss? That's a question that you probably might want to ask yourself. The next one is ticker symbol TEAM. Team definitely, again, more on the overbought side. It's showing signs of a peak formation, so meaning that it has more margin to sell off. The MACD's right away, the RSI is overbought. The MACD has peaked out and it's making lower highs, and it's also making lower lows now with this overall pattern here. So I would think that now it's on its way back down, and it most likely will try to bounce based on previous patterns right around this SMA line. But I do like this pattern, and thank you again for calling it out. I just don't think it's a good deal nor worth the investment as of right now. So I'd find it to be, again, a better deal. So again, we're deal hunters. So a better deal right around this SMA line, right around $62.64. After it sells off, confirms the bounce, breaks above the EMA line, that would be probably around $64 when it does all that. So super happy and excited to see that. NTNX. So NTNX trying to show signs of an uptrend. It's been really struggling to hold above this SMA line. First resistance at around $65. The following one at $60, then $65. Right now it's right around $55. So as long as it stays true to this EMA line in this overall direction, then great. If it starts to get rejected and starts to sell off, then it looks like probably this SMA line might be too strong as a resistance, and we might have to cover profits or lock it in. So let's go ahead and finish this here. Let's see. All right, I'm going to do 2 more, and then we actually just broke down a CROX already, but I do appreciate the call out, though. CPG, I don't know why I was on that screen. Okay, CPG. So CPG is approaching that $8 resistance. It definitely does have a lot more margin to cover. So just make sure that you understand that it's a very volatile ticker. It can sell off down to $7. So calculate what that margin of loss is. But if you see the margin of profit to exceed the margin of loss, then great. Just set up a plan that makes sense to you. I think it's a little bit more on the overbought side with this overall conservative resistance at $8. So I personally wouldn't invest in it, but it doesn't mean that you can't. Oh my goodness, Billy, you are good. 100%. So I do want to give a huge shout out to Billy. He's actually part of our Learn Plan Profit group and TechBud Solutions, and he's been actually doing extremely well within both groups as well. So thank you again for being a true example of what it means to work hard and to show and progress actively, right? So let's see. NUGT. So NUGT, let's go ahead and. So NUGT is still showing signs of a sell-off. This one offers a very similar pattern, if I'm not mistaken, to JNUG as of right now. JNUG right now has sold off pretty nicely, and it's definitely approaching more of a support right around $13. So I definitely see why it can be a good potential deal. There's actually someone that messaged me today, and I think she just joined Learn Plan Profit. I actually want to give her a shout out. Let me go ahead and do this. Let's see. Okay, so I don't know if she's actually tuning in live, but her name is Paulina, and she actually sent me a message talking and asking about ticker symbol JNUG and asking about, is this a good deal? So there's 3 things that I would ask myself, right? Is it a good deal? Is it showing signs of an uptrend? And is it above the EMA indicator? So there's one thing that it has met out of those 3 things, right? So it is in the good deal range, but it has not confirmed the uptrend, and it's not above this EMA line. If you were to put an arrow at the end of this EMA line, the overall direction would be down. And although it is a good deal, who knows, right? Just like it happened to UGAS, who knows and what can happen. So UGAS has continued to sell off, and the same thing can happen with ticker symbol JNUG. So one thing that I like to do as a precaution, right, that everyone makes mistakes, but something that I really want to refine myself to do a little bit better on is to wait for a confirmation, right, and not get emotional. So one thing that I would set an alert on is set an alert for when it breaks above the EMA line and when it stops making lower lows, right? If for this upcoming week, if it starts to just consolidate, then great, we can identify that pattern and that it's no longer making lower lows and that's in the consolidation phase. And then once it breaks above a certain resistance, then we can get a better understanding that it broke above a certain resistance and it's making higher highs. So the same thing goes for JNUG, same thing goes for NUGT. They share very similar patterns. Again, it's in the good deal range. It might have a little bit more margin to sell off. Let's set the alert for the reversal. I would set mine at around $24, and it looks like the overall range or high would be right around $26. So with that understanding, it looks like that was a crooked resistance line. But based on previous patterns, this is kind of the margin that I would like to focus on from 24 to 26. I know that margin isn't huge out of everything that it has to offer, but I think it's pretty conservative and pretty realistic, right? So from 24 to $26, that margin is a little bit over 8%, and it means that we have to wait for the break above the EMA line, and it means that once it approaches this previous resistance, that we lock in profits because we know that it's more on the overbought side than oversold, right? So today has been thumbs down. I'm sorry that your day isn't going very well, but let's see. Let's see. Okay, it looks like you're being a little bit just childish. I'm going to have to remove you. Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay, sounds good, Billy. Thank you. All righty. Hi, just joined Learn Profit. I have a question. How do you screen a stock that are on the good deal zone? So that would be more for scanning. We definitely don't scan very often. It just has to do with doing a series of technical analysis and being able to break them down and understand if they're in the good deal range or in the good sell range and stuff like that. So yeah. How many monitors do you have? I just have one in front of me as of right now. So JBHT, we need to find a good one. JBHT, one that like is shared with us. So yes, this is an ongoing uptrend. It looks like it's sold off. It's at that support right around this SMA line. Looks like it previously got rejected at around $25. So one thing that we can do is set an alert here around this area and see if it starts pushing up. And then also as it approaches 125, that's a previous resistance. So that might be where we want to lock in profits. Unless it continues to make higher highs, we could always get back in at that point. So yeah. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. All right, all right. Okay, let's end it with this one. CLNE. Okay, so CLNE has shown signs of a pretty solid sell-off. Again, I don't like trading stocks like this just due to the volatility. But what I would wait for is, again, 3 stages in a reversal. There's a rejection. I would wait for the consolidation. And then for this overall direction of this EMA line to start pointing up. So until it does that, then I wouldn't be even touching it in any way, right? So it's been making lower lows. I wanted to start making higher highs. What do you have to do? You have to wait for the overall. I would even wait for a couple days to get more of a confirmation that it's making signs of an ongoing uptrend. So, all right, last one is going to be this one, and then I'm going to talk about just 2 stocks, and then that's going to be it. Then I'll announce what's it called, the discount for the course for Learn Plan Profit. So. MU showing signs of an uptrend. Looks like it could potentially get rejected right around this SMA indicator. It's been making lower highs, and that's definitely not something that we find necessarily very attractive. And as it's showing, signs of just lower highs and stuff like that, like Micron Technologies was very bullish. It's been really struggling as it's kind of peaked out and stuff like that. So that's definitely something that you want to take into consideration and try to understand the margin that it has to cover and ask yourself, are you getting a good deal or is it a little bit more on the overbought side? And this is something that like you guys will become more familiar with, and that's why I always encourage new traders to start paper trading or simulation trading, just because you're going to make a lot of mistakes when you first get started, and I'm here to make sure that you minimize any monetary loss in any way, right? So with that understanding, one thing that I want to talk about is to understand overall direction. I have a video on YouTube elaborating a little bit more on that, but it's understanding the overall direction of whatever it is that you are investing in. So if it's a stock, if it's an ETF, and if it's showing signs of an ongoing uptrend, it's great to understand that and also to understand like the good deal ranges, right? So if it's a good deal, great. If it's in the sell range, then maybe set your alerts so you could wait for that sell-off. The 2 tickers that I wanted to talk about were ticker symbol GUSH. I already talked about it very briefly. I think this week might be something that, based on what it's been showing, it might be, there might be a change. So Gush has been showing signs of an ongoing uptrend. We did very well with this one. I closed a little bit over $1,400 profit on Friday, and you guys were able to see all that as well, right? So I set my alert. I have a series of alerts set here. It's becoming a little bit more on the overbought side, and that's kind of the scary part about it. So if you look at /CL, you can take into consideration this overall understanding. You can take into consideration this overall understanding that, like, yes, it's at around this area of, where it might bounce at with this SMA line. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Sorry about that. But looks like it had a pretty solid sell-off. Looks like it's bouncing right around this SMA line. And one thing that I would look out for is a bounce. It doesn't mean that it has to bounce. And that's definitely one of the most important things or most important factors. If it really starts to sell off and it gets rejected by this EMA line, then I would look at Gush and its correlating, ETF right? And understand that this thing might start to trend below the SMA indicator, and then that would mean the overall reversal. That means and then that its inverse ETF, which is drip, then might break above the SMA line and then might begin to recover. But again, it just means that I'm just going to be a little bit more cautious with trading something like Gush. It doesn't mean that 100% it's not. It's becoming a little. It's not pushing up as aggressive as it was before. And then understanding the overall direction of forward/CL, it would be great for it to show signs of this full-on, reversal pattern, and then for this thing to kind of build like a cup and handle pattern and reverse back up. That would be ideal. But I just want to make sure that we prepare for the worst, right? The MACD indicator looks good. The RSI looks good. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be the best investment as of right now. So I just wanted to make sure that we covered that. So let's see. Looks like we have a couple people that are a little upset with themselves today. It's pretty funny. There you go. I don't know if you guys saw, but what's it called? All right, there we go. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about was Shopify. So as it's showing signs of an ongoing uptrend, I just want to make sure that let me make sure that it's all pushing up. Are we still good? All right, there we go. All right, so ticker symbol SHOP is still showing signs of an ongoing uptrend. Again, it's becoming a little bit more on the overbought side. Make sure that you don't force the trade, but make sure that the one thing that I want to talk about is that it's still staying very true to this EMA line. As it approaches 170, 175, that's going to be the ideal resistance as this thing continues to try to push up. Watch out for the MACD indicator and the RSI indicator as well. It definitely does look more on the overbought side, so I'm going to mainly be day trading it if it trades in between the middle and top VWAP, and if it continues to recover and make higher highs. Again, I'm going to be making a follow-up video tomorrow on YouTube, right? Talking about what it is that I'm going to be looking at. I just wanted to give you guys a very simple breakdown on kind of like just to get a better understanding of the overall just understanding of what it is that I'm kind of watching. But I think by tomorrow I'll have a much better understanding and better tickers. I'm gonna have probably 3 to 5, and I'll have those prepared for you for tomorrow. So I mean that's really just it. So. All right. Oh. All right, there we go, guys. Did I lose a bet because of all right, there we go. So I'm going to close this out right here. But what I wanted to end it with was for all those that want, for those that all got a taste of kind of like what the Learn Plan Profit group is, and for those that want the ability to watch me trade live and work with me on a closer basis, feel free to click that first link down below. One of the promotions that I'll be doing is, what's it called? Is $40 off the Learn Plan Profit lesson library. All you have to do is click that first link down below. You guys can select ticker symbol, use promo code BOOM. So that is BOOM, and that'll save you $40 off the Learn Plan Profit lesson library. But yeah. Oh. What the heck? Looks like we're experiencing some spam with my phone, so it's been ringing a lot lately. Yeah. So it's probably some spam, but no worries. Guys, just wanted to thank you guys again so much for your time. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to direct message me. Again, first step, again, if you guys want to click that first link down below, use promo code BOOM, $40 off the Learn Plan Profit lesson library. Again, ends by tonight. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about is for all those that are part of TechBud Solutions, be sure to click that third link down below, and then you guys will get the ability to also join our free TechBud Solutions trading community. So want to thank you guys again for everything it is that you guys do. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the